can I just say, you really want to be judicious about what you keep? The delete button is there for a reason.
Amen.
Use it.
Yes.
So if it's empowering, keep it and share it. If it isn't, find the delete button and begin to use it as often as you need to. But that piece that you saw just before you heard Miko's beautiful rendition of Trust Love, the last line of that says, nothing in the history of humankind ever felt more like love than this. And I think for many of us, if we stop and recall some of our recent experiences, something as simple as being in line at Berkeley Bowl or Trader Joe's and standing in a line that for the first time, and I don't know how long, is civilized, where we're honoring each other, where it's okay. It's as if we get that we can be in line. And so often before this experience, we were carrying on, what's this line for? Why we gotta be in line? And we step up to it now and we get it. It's just like we suddenly have home training. We wash our hands, we are civil with each other, we are honoring and supporting and sharing and giving out gloves and supporting businesses. Can I just say that? It occurred to me that one of my favorite spots to eat, when I thought about them, I was thinking, oh my goodness, when this is over, I can hardly wait. And then I thought, wait a minute, they're gonna have to be there in order for me to go to see them and be served in the way I'm accustomed to. And so it occurred to me, I needed to get over there and get me some takeout from now. I wasn't even hungry. But I needed to make certain that they have a flow. And so I don't know about you, but some of us are beginning the practice of paying for our food, but then paying extra. And they are willing to, well, at least in Kingston 11, let me just say it, they were willing to take the additional money that we give to deliver food to people who are hungry. I'm trying to say something. This is a time that is calling us into another way of being with each other. What does it say? Nothing in the history of humankind ever felt more like love than this. There's so many opportunities for us to trust love and to know that love has the final word. And to trust that. To be all right, to be accepting, to step into crisis as opportunity. To know in this moment and all others. I've talked to you about this last week and maybe even the week before, and possibly, let's just be clear, the week before that it might have been as well. That crisis, that the Chinese language and the symbols that are used to depict the language as best as we would ever translate it. And I hope that there's a slide to support you with this. Crisis is opportunity. A crisis is a chance. This is a chance. This is an opportunity for us to rehumanize ourselves, to trust love, to be with each other in kind and accepting ways, to begin a new normal. The crisis is the turning point. It can be a turning point for us. Oh, it is for heart and soul. We will never be as we were. Can I just confide? I know there's just a few of us. That before this happened, I was working my way to call our heart and soul stakeholders together so that we could talk about live streaming. I wasn't a fan. And I really was pulling together a group so that we could tone this down. I wasn't so sure we ought to have it. So yeah, I'm healed. I hear y'all laughing in the ethers. I feel, it's all right. I'm used to being y'all's joke. But look, that's the truth. Look at who has religion now. You never know how it's going to be clear. I was so glad I hadn't called that group together to do that. You know, I don't know what would have happened. I probably would have been outvoted or out-wisdomed in this. But it was such a learning for me because I'm all in now. I can see how some of the investment that we're making and will need to make further investment in the technology, and possibly training for some of our staff so that we can do what you are expecting of us with aplomb, so that we can really put the bar somewhere where we'll be proud. So last week, I'm grateful that we were online. And we, as a maiden voyage, we had a few leaks. So we taped up some parts of the ship and we working it out. My sense is, but I know some of y'all are chatting, but chat like you did last week. And let us know how much better the sound is. Come on. Because we've invested in the sound. We're taking notes. We're looking. And let me just say, sometimes when you're looking in the feed and the chat, and if 3 people have already said what you are going to tell us, then just act like you believe and trust that we read those other 3. And that you can send us an encouraging note. Come on. Yes. An inspiring note and a donation. Come on. To support the process. Y'all look at here. One of the other things that showed up in my feed is this beautiful piece by Gurpreet Gill. And you'll have it on your screen in just a moment, and I'm going to ask that it stay there for a bit so we can really go through this and you can get a sense of how many choices we have. We are always at choice in how we respond to anything and everything. Here's the rule. The thing happens. Let's just agree that a thing has happened. Things have always happened across time. From the beginning of time, and will continue to happen. The thing is, and this is where you come in, where your power lies, is how will you respond? Right. What are you telling yourself about the thing that happened? Or sometimes it's the thing that didn't happen. So a thing didn't happen and you think it should have. Now what? So consider this. The author says, and what if? What if we subscribe to the philosophy that life is working out for us? Always working out for us. What if that there is an intelligence far greater than humans at work? That it's all interconnected. Yes. Dropping mic on behalf of the author. Because if we just stop there to say, oh my goodness, that would change everything, wouldn't it? My perception, my perspective about this would be different under that circumstance. Well, he wasn't done in writing that. What if the virus is here to help us? What if we and our foolishness and the way that we have been with each other in our poor hygiene habits, what if it was just a look, everybody out the pool? Look at yourselves and be aware of what's going on in your life. What if this is to reset, the author says, so that we might remember what's truly important? What if it's about reconnecting with family and community? Oh, we've been doing that. We've been checking in on people we've been meaning to check in on, haven't we? Oh, I guess I'm just me? I'm the only one. Okay. Because my sense is that this is bringing something up in us. And y'all little extroverts who just can't stand to be under sheltered in place are reaching out in such empowering ways. Yes. And even us extroverts are peeking out from time to time just to see how others are doing and to take that into consideration. What if it's about reducing travel so that the environment, the skies, the air, our lungs all get a break? What if? What if? I'm just saying. Consider it. If you're making up a story, how about making up one that works? How about making up a story that at the end of the story, you have a sense of the order in the universe? the interconnectedness of all life on this planet. The author goes on to say, parts of China are seeing blue sky and clouds for the first time in forever, given that factories are closed down.
Oh, no.
See, we don't really know, and we don't have the full story yet, but let's just put some tick marks where we're noticing. I noticed that person was kind. Look, I noticed that with the freeways being clear, I drove out to South San Francisco in my particular case, to actually pick up my godmother's prescription. My godmother will be 95 this year. And she's very independent and had intended to do that herself. But I was like, no. She's like, it's too far for you to come. I thought, not today. They don't want to go be on the road with me and 4 other people. And that's pretty much what it was.
Yeah.
And so imagine the difference in the level of pollution.
Right.
Imagine how the planet is finally getting a break, and we get some rain to boot in that. Somebody could be writing a story that this thing is really working out. Now look, I'm not crazy. So I know that for many, this is a difficult time. Right. There's some folks who are ill. There's some folks for whom we have great compassion and are sending our condolences because they have family members who have passed in this. So I'm not making light of this. What I'm saying is that all of this is true simultaneously at the same time. Our hearts go out to those who are the most challenged in this.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean we cannot acknowledge that there's some things that are working at the same time. Yes?
Yes.
That we continue, we are still, for example, where we used to once a month take out our blessing bags directly into the field. We're now providing them to folks who do that, who are cleared to do that because that is the work that they do. And we'll continue to figure out ways to make a difference. But the author goes on to say, and I now have just excerpted this last part because it's a longer piece. The author says, what if this virus is an ally in our evolution? What if we're starring in a sci-fi movie where the thing has to shift in such a way in order for us to end up? Isn't it Yolanda Adams who has a song that the part of the lyric is, I have to see myself at the finish line. Come on now, somebody knows what I'm talking about. I have to see myself at the finish line. And the finish line will look different now with humanity on the rise.
Come on.
Our empathy, our compassion, our hygiene. On the rise, it will look different. The finish line will look different for us. Goes on to say, in our remembrance of what it means to be connected, to be humane, living a simpler life. Can somebody just give testimony? For the simplicity of our life, the games we're now playing with each other, the simple conversations we now have time to have with each other. To be less impactful, more kind to our environment. Wow. Another way of relating to this virus, this unfolding, this evolution. It was a time for change. We all knew that. We've been talking about it 2020 and 2020. We were not just aware it was a time for a change. We were willing, we were praying and declaring, we were willing to be agents of change. Voila. We are now in change. It's arrived.
Yeah.
And then in the author's wisdom, leaves us with simply, what if? Leaving it up to us. What if we love more deeply?
Come on.
More unconditionally? What if we come through this caring more deeply? More inclusive? What if we refuse to be changed? Here's the thing. There really is a shift afoot. And so I want to invoke one of my favorite, I don't know, people who are talking about business and the shifts within it. I've been a fan of his work for a good while, Simon Sinek. He says that what we're experiencing is not unprecedented. I know we have included that in our vocabulary on the regular. It's all unprecedented. Not so much. Not all of this. It isn't. He's saying that this has happened many, many times in business. And he then goes on to give us some examples. What I love about his work is that at the core of his work, his thesis is essentially that it's less about what to do than why to do.
Yeah.
See, that's his thesis. That's his work that catches us. And Heart and Soul, I've exposed you to him before and shared some of his work before. But this idea of us looking at the infinite mindset, which he says is very specific, it works a different way than the finite mindset. The infinite mindset does. So in saying that these are not unprecedented times, he speaks about the fact that while it's sudden and shocking, the business world has evolved this way always. And if you cite, for example, that the beginning of Starbucks, when Starbucks was in, I think they're from Seattle, and the Seattle folks knew them, but the Bay Area certainly didn't, other states didn't. When they began to roll out, it began to look like the mom and pop coffee shops, they were being taken over. But what it really meant to the ones who study business practices is that if you don't change, you will be out of business.
Yep.
And taxi cabs. I mean, no offense in all of this. We're just looking at how life works. It's evolution. If you don't change, if you keep that same taxi model, it's not that rideshare couldn't have been an idea that Yellow Cab could have come up with, or any of the other taxi companies. Not only did they not come up with the idea, they refused to change and begin to include it as their business model. And so you have Uber and Lyft and whoever else is doing it. And here's the shift in how we see it. We no longer are blaming. So it's not that Uber is responsible for the yellow taxi business at the moment. It's that yellow taxi is responsible for their business and how they chose to change or did not change. And we see that always. We see the businesses who, I know people back in the day who were like, when computers first came into the workplace, yeah, I was there. Yeah, let's just take that in. I was absolutely there. And they were the ones who were like, I'm not doing that. Now, you know what? I would love if we could go out and visit them because you know they got a smartphone.
Right.
You know, but when it first starts, the people who the dinosaurs are the ones who refuse. I'm not doing that. I'm not going online, and now they have a different experience. I was almost in a place around our live streaming. I was like, I'm not sure I get it. Got it now. I may be late to the party, but when I get there, it's on. I just say that. So look, Marianne Williamson offers us this. This is essential. I'm loving the way her daily read syncs up with my daily life. Can I just say that? It is a beautiful thing. So for day 89, let's do this together. Here we go. I just want you to see that it says, today I claim my oneness with God, so that you're aware that we're not at the effect of this situation and circumstance. I'm remembering, I am engaging my oneness with God. When not at peace, come on now, when I'm not at peace, I recognize that I'm separate from my true self. When I'm not feeling love, I recognize I'm separate from God. Today, I claim my oneness with God so that my suffering, my sense of separation, my ill will shall end.
Yes.
She goes on to say, may false and delusional fractals of my true self, my angriness, my neediness, my controlling, or whatever, go back to the nothingness from which it came.
Come on.
For that's not me. That's not my true self. I saw my true self in line at Trader Joe's. I saw my true self in Berkeley Bowl. I see my true self at Kaiser in South San Francisco. I'm beginning to get a greater sense of my capacity to be and be more loving, more kind, more accepting, more inclusive. I didn't know it would take this. And to wash my hands the other day. Now I know it's TMI, but I'm out here now. That the other day I'm washing my hands, and just as I turned off the water, I realized the back of my hand was dry. And I thought, how long have I been washing my hands? But this was the first time in a little while because I've been really conscientious. But I was rushing in that moment. And I thought, now how do you wash your hands and had a back of the hand dry? I had to turn the water on, but you see, I'm paying attention.
Right.
I'd have been somewhere touching stuff with the clean hand nonetheless, but I'm making a point here. So look, I'm going to, y'all can see it on the screen. Keep it there, but I'm going to move on because there's this place where Simon takes us with this idea of just acknowledging that there's a lot that's going on. We are in a dark tunnel. But even though we're in the dark tunnel, we can see the light. Tell the truth. If we focus righteously, if we open our hearts, we see the light, he says. I don't know how far away it is, though. But we know that there's light at the end of this and every tunnel we've ever been in.
Amen.
Here's the thing, he says. We're in darkness now. But when we come out of the dark,
Come on.
we will have a better train.
That's right.
Now, that's up to each and every one of you sitting wherever you are in your little PJs and whatever you have on. I can't see you, don't worry. Here's the thing, y'all. On the other side of this, we must choose now to claim the difference.
Yes.
To decide that we are not going through this to come out just simply poo-poo parade, hip hip parade, that we came through. It's to be different, to be transformed in this. So for Heart and Soul, we are doing everything to ensure that we take advantage of every bit of this. Every bit that is squeezing us into a new way. We intend to be all about the new way. To do the technology is going to be different. The way, can I tell you something about Heart and Soul that you may not know from behind the, if you have not been behind the curtain? Is the thing that I believe has truly served us so that we could step to this, period, is the fact that we are a collaborative organization.
Yes.
The fact that we spent time building authentic teams. Teams are not just groups of people together wearing the same name tags. Come on. There is a consciousness of team that we established. And we are banking on it now. We made the deposit so that when this first happened, and when I say this first happened, when we were sheltered, we had an order for shelter in place, and then ultimately that expanded to stay home, stay healthy. That we had a way of being with each other. We'd already built trust. We could come together very quickly and execute some things we'd never done before because we had a foundation. I'm trying to say something.
Yeah.
Because we've set ourselves up as an organization that can move through. We're not trying to keep up with what we used to do.
Right.
We're looking at what must we be right now. The need is different. What must we be right now? We's being it. Right now, I'm doing my best here with my little Rachel Maddow thing happening, because what y'all don't know is I got on my play shoes and my yoga pants. I know I blew it because Rachel don't ever tell me. I'm gonna do better. Next time you're not gonna know. But I'm doing the thing in a different way. I know that was just TMI right there. I understand it was. I'm just trying to say that for me, that was like a huge difference. And everything is different. So it's all of the little things that you think don't matter, but they're all moving you in a different direction. Something else matters now. And that's where the focus is. So real talk, come on now. How will we get through this? Real talk. Is that the question we'll be asking ourselves? How will we get through this? Can you feel like it? That already has a bit of a whiny noise to it. How will we get through this? There's a bit of desperation and major concern about how's this thing gonna work. I'm suggesting that maybe that's not even the question. Maybe the question really is, how will we change to move through this? Rather than how will we get through this, like getting through is the thing. That's not the goal for us. It's not to get through it. It's how will we change so that we move through this with grace.
Yes, yes.
And high intention.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's not how are we to preserve what we have. See, not a one of us have asked that, but what we gonna do about, no, we leaving. Anything that can't go on the journey, we gonna leave it. We're going to be shifted. Somebody just said, come on, Mother Harriet. Go on and invoke Queen Mother Harriet. You know, our ancestors knew they had to travel light a lot of the times. It wasn't that, there wasn't that they didn't want to bring it. Sometimes they were loved ones that they wanted to bring. But they realized when they couldn't bring it that the evolution of the circumstance was essential.
Yes.
So you don't just drag stuff with you that you know you don't need on that journey right now. There's some stuff we used to do that I was attached to, and I might be for a little while, but I know not to get in my own way. And I'm inviting you to not get in your way. So it's not how are we to preserve what we have. Let's ask instead, what will we be?
Yes.
What will we be? Once we're on the other side, once we can hug each other, once we can, some people not gonna even start shaking hands again. Y'all just need to be ready. There's some people that just are not gonna shake hands. They are over it because they understand the hygiene issues that have always been there. So don't get your feelings hurt. Some people are like, this is gonna be my new jam. I'm just going to like this right here. Yeah, and I understand that I may be among them. I'm not clear yet, but I may be among them. I'm just working it out as we go along. But the idea is to see yourself. Come on, Yolanda Adams.
Right.
To see yourself at the finish line
Yeah.
and know that you're going to be different. And decide now, how different am I going to be? Because you got some time to read a book. You got some time to take an online course. You got some time to get a little online coaching therapy. I'm just saying, whatever it is that I know you needed that and wanted it, but you haven't had time. Now you have the time. Come on, let's move through this. Let's be and do whatever is required in order for us to emerge transformed and empowered.
Yes.
Amen.
Yes.
How about that, Joe?
Yes.
I do whatever is required to emerge transformed and empowered. Can we
Yes.
say that together? I do whatever is required to emerge transformed and empowered. And then mean it.
Yeah, amen.
Begin doing whatever is required in order to do that.
Amen.
That's like a multi-layered opportunity. For some, it will be, open my heart and mind in ways that I haven't. Begin trying some other things. For others, it's going to be to up their game in what they're already doing. I don't know exactly. On behalf of Heart and Soul, I know that there are changes for us to make. And we're already making some of them. But I know that once we open our doors and all of the chairs here are filled once again,